Hey, just thought I'd make a real quick video for you, just take you through the steps of how you can take existing PowerPoint presentations that you might have of content you use and turn them into videos that you can easily upload or narrate and then upload onto Google Classroom. So let's go through the steps and just show you how it's done. Here's a real basic PowerPoint that I've got just about order operations for mathematics. Now, by default, the recording tab isn't available to you. So we're going to go up to the ribbon and we right click in some space here at the end and we hit customize the ribbon. And from there, you'll see there's a recording tab that's unchecked. If we just check it, hit OK, now across the top, I've got this recording tab in my ribbon. And when I click it, I've got some controls here. The main one we want to use is this one here, record slideshow. And when we click that, we're going to get this interface. Now before, let me just quickly go back. You'll see down here in the notes section for my slides, I've made some notes. Now you may not have, but the reason I've done that is there might be things you want to remember to say in your narration rather than just winging it. Put them in here because in a moment I'll show you how they come up when you're doing the recording. So here's the notes for my first slide. So let's go back into record slideshow. Here's the interface. And across the top here, we've got our controls for record, stop, and replay. We'll use them shortly. I just mentioned the notes. So if there were things that you want to remember to say, so these were the notes I had written for my first slide, I can click this and have them show so that when I'm doing the recording, I can have these little prompts to remind me of what to say and do. Settings we'll get to soon, but you might have multiple microphones or multiple cameras. In this case, I've got two, because you can see I've probably got a bit more set up than most. You can see I've got the green screen and the good mic. You don't need all that stuff. We're going to do an actual recording just with the webcam and the microphone from the computer. But if you've got a better webcam at home or a better microphone, yeah, absolutely, you can access them from here. These left and right arrows will take you through each slide, forwards and backwards. And that's important because the recording gets attached to each slide. So it's not just one big long recording. You record on one slide, you go to the next slide, you record onto that. So you work your way through each slide piece by piece. Bottom left corner, you've got some timer controls. This will show you how long the narration is for this slide that you're on. In this case, let's go back to slide 1 of 19. And the second timer is your overall, to give you an idea of how long your actual video is becoming. Across the bottom, you've got erase, draw, and highlighter tools, so you can click on a pen, pick a color, and actually draw onto your presentation on the fly if you'd like, and they all get recorded. Bottom right corner, now you've got a couple of options here. Make sure your microphone is on, because at the very minimum, you'll want to record the audio. So turn the microphone on or off. We want it on. Now this one, you may or may not want to put yourself in it. Like you may choose you just want to do audio, but if you want to put yourself in it so the students see that it's you talking to them, you can click the camera icon and it will use the webcam. Now you'll see that that is a different angle to what you're seeing here, because that is coming from my laptop off to my left, and that's the one we're going to use in a moment when we do our demo. So I'm using my what you see me talking to you, looking at you now, as my webcam. It's a separate one. It's a better quality one than what's in the laptop. But you don't need the fancy ones. In fact, let's have a look right now using the laptop. Alright, so here we are now. We've switched over to just the PowerPoint. I'm using the webcam camera up here in the top of my laptop, just the microphone in the laptop, and I've turned on the little camera thing, because not only do I want to record the audio, I want to record the video as well. Now, it's just a case now of going through each slide and recording your narration over it. So this is my first slide. You can see I'm on slide 1 of 19. Let's hit record. I'll get a little countdown. And from here I can start to talk about this first slide. We're going to talk about, well, in mathematics, what should I do first in this sum here, this 2 plus 3 times 7, which bit do I first, blah, 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 blah. Now, whatever your content is, you can go on from there. When you finish that slide, now you can continue to roll, but I would pause before you go to the next slide, because it will just attach the recording to that slide. So just don't keep sort of recording and speaking as you click the next button. I'm going to pause. Now I'm on to slide 2, and I can talk about the fact that if I was to do the 2 plus 3 first, blah, blah, blah. So you can continue to record your content. At this point, I could use my pen tool if I wanted to just sort of annotate over the top of anything. I could erase that, or we could use a highlighter tool if we wanted to highlight anything on the PowerPoint slide. I'm going to go on to slide 3 now, so I can just hit my normal sort of forward arrow as you would when you're recording. Now we're on to slide 4, and finally here's the content for slide 5. And now when you're finished, I can just press stop. I can now go back and go through each slide and just look at the recording for each slide. So if I want to go back to slide 2 and if I hit play, Now I'm on to slide 2, and I can talk about the fact that if I was to do the 2 plus 3 first, blah blah blah. So you can continue to right. So that is our recorded content now. I think you can probably only hear me now because now that anyway you probably can't see my face talking, but that's all right. You can still hear me, and I can go back now and if I wanted to re-record, for example, slide 1. Let's say I didn't like what was on slide 1. I can go back to slide 1, and I can hit record again. And now I can re-record over the top. This should be slide 1. Let's see if it worked. So now if I was to replay slide 1, and now I can re-record over the top. This should be slide 1. Let's see if it worked. Just hit my normal sort of forward arrow. Now we're on to slide 4, etc., etc. So you can see I've just attached recordings to each slide, and you can go through and replace certain slides if you need to. Not going to go into great detail about some of the more intricate features, but this is enough to get you going. Then finally, how do you get that into a video form? Let's close our recording interface, and you'll see now on the slides, for each slide, there is a recording attached to it. Okay, so you can see that for each slide, you've got that little video, and your annotations are on there, my highlighting, etc. I'm going to go to my recording tab and export as a video. Okay, and I can select this sort of the size of the video. In this case, I'm going to leave it as full HD, and it's going to use the recorded timings and narrations. I can simply hit create video. It'll ask me where to save it. Let's pop it onto my desktop, etc. Save, and yeah, it'll now go through. It'll take a little while to process. In fact, if you look in the bottom corner here, you'll see a little status bar that says, look, it's creating the video. And when that finishes, you'll all be done. You'll have an MP4 file that you can now upload to Google Classroom and share with your students as a video of that PowerPoint presentation. Well done. Hit me up if you've got any questions about what we've just covered, or you like some more detail. Cheers.